make at least 2 new good friends. I want to read at least 5 books this entire year. I want to try to make at least 1 different new meal a week. I really want to work on my sleep schedule. I do want to plan a trip. I want to try and make 1 YouTube video a week. Hello, here I am 1 year later, about to do a 2023 recap. It literally doesn't even feel like that long ago since I was here. This year went by pretty quickly, honestly. It's kind of cray-cray, kind of kooky. The year began in Toronto. Mostly, I was posted up indoors, spending all my days studying. Socializing barely made the calendar, and nostalgia felt like my constant. I found that I was constantly living for the future or reminiscing about the past. It was not often that I was content in the present moment. As the next month began, I started to leave my neighborhood in attempts to find comfort and familiarity in my relatively new environment. Near the end of February, I went on a trip to Montreal, which kind of flipped the script. March was reminiscent of February. In April, the days became longer, the weather became warmer, and my family came to visit. Although the month was still a little stressful, as it was the last month of first year. May was probably my favorite month of the year. Vancouver welcomed me back with blooming flowers and reunions. Then, near the end of May 20th to be exact, came the adventure. The solo voyage started scary, but it ended up being a formative adventure, and I created lasting memories that I'll never forget. June opened in Greece. I spent the day shopping, swimming, trying out new restaurants, and overall just exploring the areas. When June 12th rolled around, I flew back to Toronto. I was there for about 10 days just trying to get things in order, unpacking and repacking to go back to Vancouver. My friend Gemma came to visit for a few days, and we did some touristy activities. We went to the art gallery, checked out some local coffee shops, and we even took a crochet class at a bar. Then I found myself back in Vancouver, where I did some work and hung out with my friends. July was laid back and easy. Had some family dinners, beach days, and hangouts with friends. It was a pretty uneventful first few weeks. Then mid-July, I had my annual camping trip with my friends. At the very end of July, my dad and I drove up to go hike the Joffrey Lakes. That's also probably one of my favorite vlogs that I've made. Like, I don't know, it was just so fun. It was such an awesome day, and I'll never forget it. Like, it was such an amazing memory that I made with my dad. Near the beginning of August, I flew back to Toronto for a few days, and then I went off to Costa Rica. Returned back from Costa Rica, I decided to revamp my apartment. So I went and I decorated and found like cool little posters, you know, added some new things to make it feel like it was truly my space. Then September. September started strong. I caught up with friends, had a little cottage trip, and dove into the school year with a mission to root myself in my new environment. Well, not really new because I had been living in Toronto for a year, but still relatively new environment. I wanted to find a place I could trail run and a soccer team I could join. I wanted to start creating stronger ties to my community and begin building a life. My friend of over 10 years had also begun living in Toronto, and the combination of these elements added a new rhythm to my life. I was starting to feel like Toronto was really my home and that I had a purpose and I had a life there, which I didn't really feel last year. October consisted of soccer Sundays, reunions with family and friends, and the last hurrahs of warm weather. November was a pretty busy month filled with studying and not much else. The beginning of December was the scramble to finish first semester. Upon completing all my final assignments and exams, I headed back to Vancouver. In these past 2 weeks, I've been catching up with friends, spending time with family, and preparing for the new year. In retrospect, 2023 culminated in growth, warmth, and a sense of belonging. Now I'm going to talk about what goals I accomplished that I set for myself in 2023 and some of the things that I learned throughout the year. So, let's talk about what goals I accomplished. One of my first goals was to make 2 new friends, at least 2 new friends. Did I accomplish this? Yes. I made 2 new really good friends that were on my trip when I went through Europe. We were together like all the time, and although we don't stay in touch as much anymore, I did foster 2 friendships, you know? And so that is one of the things that I did. Another one of my goals was to read at least 2 new, or it was 5 books. Did I accomplish that? No. I read 1.5, so that's better than nothing now. But I feel like for me it's just hard to find a good book that I like. Another goal was for cooking, trying to make different meals every week. And I did do that when I had a lot of time and I wasn't busy with school and other things. I'm still eating healthy, I'm still exercising, you know, I'm still eating good food. Just because I wasn't making a new recipe each week, that's okay. I'm fine with that. Another one of my goals was wanting to work on my sleep schedule, and I think I set the goal to try and go to bed before 1 a.m. every night, and I did that last night. I went to sleep at 12 and woke up at 9:45. The next goal I had for 2023 was to travel, and I did accomplish that. So, yeah. Another one of my goals was to make 1 YouTube video a week. I tried. It was kind of bad though. I didn't make one YouTube video for an entire month, but that was also because I had so many assignments and like sometimes I just like can't do it all. I think there were a few others, like I wanted to make at least 1 new playlist a month or at least find new music each week. And I was doing that for a while, but I haven't been doing it this past month. I haven't even really been listening to music, which is crazy. I think one of the other goals was like happiness. And I said that I wanted to journal every Sunday or write positive affirmations. And I didn't do that. I didn't. Now let's get on to what I've learned this year. I do have to have the paper here because I just wrote some points because if I don't, I'm gonna forget. So the first one was the importance of social connection in relationships. From January to April, I saw my friends occasionally. I had a few friends in the city, but I didn't see them that often, and we would kind of see each other to go out or go out and do things. It wouldn't typically just be like hanging out in my house or their house, and you know. So I kind of realized the toll that not being social and not being around people that I'm comfortable with kind of took on me. And I began to feel very isolated. It just wasn't really good for me. And I kind of realized that for me, I need to be social. I'm a social person. Even though I'm introverted, social connection is extremely important to me, and I feel like it's extremely important to a lot of people. Another thing that I learned how to do is how to feel at home in a new city. I didn't feel at home at all last year, but now I'm beginning to feel like I do. And the reason, I go to school there obviously, but now I have a close friend there, and I feel like having ties to people that live in the new city, new environment, definitely makes it feel like you have a life there. Finding familiar places and like places that bring you comfort. Recently I found this trail and it's super nice, and it makes me feel like I'm at home. It's honestly better than the running trail at home, and I'm glad that I found it. And although it takes time, I feel like eventually you can find familiarity in a new place. Yet another way to tie yourself to a community I find is I joined a soccer team, and I feel like if you like to play a certain sport or you enjoy certain clubs, join a club, play on a team. It kind of makes you feel like you're kind of needed in a way in your new environment, in that you have a purpose there and people count on you, and I found that really helped. Another thing I learned is the importance of living in the present. This year, I was living for the future, but also reminiscing about the past. I was always like, I can't wait to go home to Vancouver and see my friends, my hometown friends. I miss being in Vancouver, being able to see my hometown friends and doing this and doing that. Meanwhile, I'm in Toronto just by myself. But also fair enough, because I didn't have any friends, and, well, I had friends. I had friends, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really have many friends. And so I just kind of was constantly living for the future in the past. Whereas now, again, I feel like having ties to your community, making it feel like your space and developing a life there makes you live in the present. And now, this past semester, September to December, in comparison to January to March of last year, I feel so much more content in the present and living where I am. And I'm experiencing new things in the city and going out and doing things. And my life has improved exponentially. Next is taking risks and stepping out of comfort zone. So obviously I knew I wanted to travel, so I did that. That was out of my comfort zone because I had never traveled outside of Canada by myself. But I think it was a really good experience, and it was a risk, it was scary, but I ended up really enjoying it and having a great time. If there's no risk to your safety, step out of your comfort zone. And that's what I did, and I'm so glad that I did that, because now it kind of unlocks this part of my brain where I'm like, I can do that. I can go travel by myself. I am in control of my life. I just feel like I stepped out of my comfort zone a lot this year, and I'm glad that I did. So anyway, those are like a few of the things that I learned. There are definitely a lot more things that I actually did learn, but I'm just forgetting. That is the video that I have for you guys today. It's been a good year, and I'm really grateful for everything that I got to experience and where I'm at right now. Although I didn't accomplish all the goals I wanted to, I think I'm still in a pretty good place, and I did improve on some of them. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Happy New Year's to all you guys, and I hope you have an amazing year. So, toodles!